Hello, Disney Connections and fellow Disney freaks. I got my cherry pie. I have to say, I didn't get to have the cherry pie last night because Melanie told me no, but I got cherry pie tonight. So I might be snacking on that as we're putting on the show tonight. It's going to be a good one, I think. We've got lots to talk about. We're going to be taking care of Hawkeye tonight and finishing that series off because if you're current, you finished it off last week. 2 weeks ago. It's been 2 weeks. Yeah, we had to take last week off. And then Book of Boba Fett started last week. So we're going to dive in and we're going to get some reactions, and I want to see your reactions. And we're just going to talk a little bit about these two shows tonight. And we're going to have fun. So the comments are going to be driving what we're going to be saying, and hopefully we're going to give you something that is a little bit of entertainment. But I want to bring in my guest. So I've got one guest coming in tonight. He's a regular. He's an expert in the comic book world, and he's not too shabby in Star Wars too. So welcome in, Lauren. Hey, Lauren, what's going on?
Hey, I wouldn't say expert, but I am pretty good with the comic books.
He's so humble, y'all. Pretty much an expert. I mean, you know what? Whenever I throw something out, you pretty much, I mean, maybe you don't say, well, it came from volume this and
Yeah.
but you have a pretty good idea.
I have a pretty good idea of general knowledge of the entire universe.
Yeah.
Let's say that.
Yeah, no, it's super fun, and I love having you on. And the couple episodes that we've had where you weren't on, it gets a little rough around here because I don't know the backstory a lot. I know what's in front of me, like, from the MCU and what's been kind of just, fed to me. But I don't have that back knowledge of reading the origin stories and that. So, but we're also going to be talking about Boba Fett tonight, which I would say out of expertise, I'm probably more of a Star Wars knowledgeable. I don't know.
Mhm.
I didn't want to say expert in there because I definitely am not a Star Wars expert. I mean, I missed the entire Clone Wars series.
Wow.
I didn't watch what was the last one on Disney Plus?
Rebels.
I didn't watch that either. The Bad Batch. I didn't watch that.
That was a good one too.
Yeah, so there's a lot that I've missed that I want to get caught up on. There's just 24 hours in a day, so it makes it rather difficult.
Yeah.
Hey, I just want to welcome some people in. Thank you so much for stopping by over here. We got Disney Dynamics in the hot seat. Thank you for being there and running the show. That was a pleasant surprise tonight. David, DC, Broadway Disney fan over there. Do you have any fudge left over there, DC? Because I was on a kind of a sugar high. You know what? I'm going to get like sugar high up today too. I got my Mountain Dew, Polar Pop, by the way, if I'm sponsored. I'm not. If you want to sponsor. But and my cherry pie. So it should be a good night. Leanne's in the house. Welcome. Jason T. Hola.
Jason.
Just Ginger's in the house.
Yeah.
Love Hawkeye. Okay. We're getting some reactions already. So I can't wait to see some more here. The court report's in the house. What's up? What's up?
Yay, Courtney.
Two tiny wings. Hopefully you're all caught up and
Nally.
the first one with the first episode of Book of Boba Fett. Yep. All right. Is that it? I think I caught everybody in the chat. Awesome. So Hawkeye.
All right.
I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm going to take a couple bites of my cherry pie here. And I just want you to give us like a little synopsis plus reaction of your feelings on Hawkeye.
All right. Well, so I loved the series. I actually think it is one of my favorite series of the ones that have come out on Disney Plus. I like it because it was a it was basically a Christmas story wrapped up in an action film. and I thought I liked that aspect of it. I
So
thought
basically,
that
Die Hard all over again.
yeah,
Correct?
okay, yeah, basically something like that. Um, I like the fact that it did pay a lot of homage to the comic, the Matt Fraction comic, and I thought that they did a lot of good stuff with that. I mean, it wasn't exactly word for word, but they never do anything word for word. But they always get the spirit of the comic for me in, and that's what I think makes these Marvel properties so good is the fact that they managed to capture all this history into the characters and the stories and things like that.
Yeah. Let me pause you just for a second, Lauren. I'm going to let you keep going because this is important. I like to get the backstory and kind of how it's all intertwined. But Leslie's made it in from the Rogue.
Yay!
I wanted to get her in here because she's talking Hawkeye tonight, and I don't know if she's going to stay. Our goal tonight is to convince her to step outside of the original trilogy and become a Star Wars fan for real.
All you need to know for Book of Boba Fett is the original trilogy, anyway.
Oh, really?
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I was thinking that.
Okay.
I was going to say it, Lauren, but you are correct.
And I'm not anti Star Wars. I just never really got into any of the new stuff. Like, I love the original movies, so I'm not opposed to diving into that world because I already got sucked into Marvel. I got real sucked into Harry Potter. I watched all of the Harry Potter movies in about 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
So it's time to get caught up on Star Wars.
Yeah, so that's the next project.
Okay. All right, so Lauren was telling us kind of just a wrapping up Hawkeye, the storyline, and we haven't got to your feelings yet, but keep going with the storyline.
So anyway, I thought that it started off slow, but then by episode 3, it like really picked up, and it just kept ramping up all the way. I loved all of the moments with Yelena Belova and Kate Bishop. Anytime that the two of them were on screen together was a good time for me. And it just gives me hope that we'll see more of them in the future. I really enjoyed Jeremy Renner. He's not a very likable character per se, but I really enjoyed him in the series, and I kind of got why there are a lot of people who do like him, and so I got that out of the series as well. So a lot of different things out of the series. I loved the fact that they brought in Kingpin from the Netflix verse, and I mean, that was insane for me as a Marvel fan to have that happen.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so Leslie, just kind of wrap up the series in what you thought of it.
So I actually really liked it. This might have been the one that I went into with maybe the highest expectations because I love Hawkeye. He's always been one of my favorites in Marvel. I just like that he's the regular guy in the group that hangs in and does great things. And the first couple episodes, I wasn't sure. I felt like it was a little, I don't want to say forced. And I knew there was a lot of background information, but like, I just felt like Kate was like real crazy. I was like, there has to be more to her story, which I feel like they never gave. I mean, we learned her whole backstory, but to be this like wannabe Avenger to protect her family to like literally taking on all of these masked men in the basement of a sketchy party, like it just seemed real weird to me. So I was like, you're kind of losing me. But then they brought it back around. I still think that there needs to be more explanation as to why she was so confident fighting these men, but
Right. No, I agree with you there. Like, it was almost unbelievable in her character that they developed. Um I mean, knowing that she's gonna be the next Hawkeye, right? It's kind of like, well, Hawkeye has been presented to us as kind of this quiet, get the job done character, right?
Mm.
And she is like kind of over the top. And where did she get her training to fight bad guys? Like, I mean, I'm no expert, but I did take karate, okay? And sparring in karate class and getting in a brawl in an alley somewhere are totally different,
right.
right?
And that's like
So,
that was their whole thing. Like, oh, she took these fighting skills. She had karate. Like, okay, yes, but and karate versus a one singular opponent
right,
is different than 20 guys with masks and guns. Like,
right,
Right. But here's my thing though about her is she has the confidence. I have a nephew who has the confidence, and he just thinks he can do anything, and which is both a blessing and a curse for him. And I think that's what it is for her, is she gets in all these messes, even though she doesn't have quite the ability to do all these things. Although she comes close, and
right.
I like the fact that she is so different from Hawkeye, the Jeremy Renner Hawkeye, that it just makes it for an interesting team up.
it does.
Yeah.
And I liked her story once like we got used to her character and saw a lot of it. I would agree with that to a pretty high extent, but I feel like they could have given a little bit more backstory of like how they gave us the backstory of her destroying them bell tower or whatever at school.
Right.
And like I feel like she was doing like paid fights or like just some like fight club at her school or something. Like give me something to at least like give her the reason to have that overconfidence that she's at least fought some people outside her class.
Yeah, because it's
know.
like, I mean, it'd be one thing to be mischievous and doing things, because I mean, she's not really trying to like knock the bell down, right? She was
Right.
trying to make the bell ding,
Yeah.
and it just happens that she does something that is a little over the top, but it doesn't cause her to be like a mean or bad character or somebody with a past. I mean, we all did dumb stuff in college. Some of us just didn't get caught, right? She got caught.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But no, I liked it. I thought it was a great show. I thought the last 2.5 episodes made it worth the watch alone. The last episode, the scenes, just the fighting scenes and the Kingpin and you seeing the character arc of Yelena and where that was going. And that to me, honestly, was probably like the best story of the show was Yelena and Hawkeye.
Yes, I will.
That was very good.
I will totally agree with you. I'm going to shock y'all a little bit. I didn't like it.
No?
Whoa!
I wasn't a huge fan, and I'm upset about it. I really am. And I don't know what Melanie's in the chat. Welcome in, Disney Connexions, Mel, by the way. And wishes one of Disney. Susan Silva's in the house as well. She should be there close to the airport, getting ready to fly out. Yeah, I wasn't like. There was never like a moment in the series where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to watch this. Like, even though Kingpin was coming, and we knew it. I mean, we knew it from probably the first or second episode, right? We knew. I mean, once we see tracksuits, it's like, oh duh, here comes our villain, right? And maybe because I felt that the Falcon and the Winter Soldier was so good, and I don't know what y'all's feelings on that, but the Falcon and the Winter Soldier was so good that I wanted Hawkeye to have that caliber, and I just didn't feel like it was there. Like,
I don't disagree with that, and I think that maybe it was intentional that it wasn't, because the one thing that made, because I really also like Falcon and Winter Soldier a lot. I thought it was super interesting. Mark, my husband, did not love it. And he is the Marvel guy. Like, he's why I got into Marvel. And I just thought, even if you didn't love the story, and because he's not, I think he could have cared less about them taking on like this social climate that was happening in the moment and embracing that and rolling with it, which I thought was a great thing. He was like, I don't care about that. I just want the stories.
Yeah.
But every episode was like a miniature movie. There was so much action. There were so many like epic fight scenes. But that's kind of how those characters were the whole time. Hawkeye's always been super understated. So it didn't surprise me that it wasn't the same, I don't want to say like same push behind this show as that was that show, but I feel like that was kind of understated because Hawkeye's understated.
Yeah, well, and Melanie's going to fall out of her seat wherever she's at in the house. I'm not going to get political here, but I'm not of like the woke culture and cancel culture and stuff like that. I mean, to always be pushing an agenda, I think sometimes gets a little bit too much out there. But I believe that the Falcon and the Winter Soldier had like a social agenda that they were putting into that series that actually like made it a real good series, like a strong series.
I think it came at the right time, and those characters naturally had that storyline anyways. It's not like they didn't have to try real hard. Right. They didn't have to construct a big push to like shift the story that way. Naturally, the story was going that way because Sam already had the shield. Like that story was already there.
Right. But I don't feel like we got any of that. There was nothing super emotional about Hawkeye. I mean, he loses her dad, but that was in like the first 20 seconds of episode 1. It's not like we had a relationship. None of us cared about him. There was no. So I don't know.
I agree.
I guess it was because the way that I look at it was that it was a Christmas film.
Yeah,
maybe it was a Christmas film.
Anthony, the man's in the house. Welcome in. Yeah.
The Falcon
told me to shut my mouth. And Melanie said, "Stop." I'm not exactly sure. Maybe they thought I was going to go off politically, but I didn't. I was making a point in comparing the two series. So yeah, I was careful.
Yeah, Falcon and Winter Soldier. I felt had a lot of different things going on for it. It was a broader story.
Yeah.
Whereas Hawkeye was. It had everything that you needed in the Christmas film. It had laughs. It had that emotional moment. It had I made up a word. Different, like central villain. So I don't know. I just thought it was a much simpler story, and I liked it for that.
Yeah. Well, and then I also compare it with Loki, like because Loki to me at some points were kind of sleepy, Loki was really good. But what Loki did is they ended with season 2 coming. This ended with Hawkeye kind of going off in the sunset and turning the torch over, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mhm.
is that what we got?
I feel like they left it open. They left it open.
Yeah, I feel like he'll be around on terms of when he wants to be involved, or like they'll use him for cameos and stuff. But I think ultimately his big
moment
is done. Yeah, like
Yeah. Because I did also think it was interesting that they kind of made an effort to like show to us that Laura, his wife, was actually Mockingbird.
right.
Was from the comics.
That's kind of what I felt like this whole show was honestly setting up for the big picture of Marvel, was her storyline somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that so I think it leaves it open for them to come back, but it also gives Jeremy Renner an opportunity to kind of retire at the same time.
Yeah, I feel that, and I agree too. I feel like probably the last half of the series was setting her up to be Mockingbird. But where did we go with that? Like, I mean, I don't like if there was like well, DC was talking about what about the end credits, which I want to get y'all's thoughts on that. But if there was an end credit that somehow like brings her back into the into the mix somehow, or I don't know, maybe a flashback story. I don't know. Something needs to happen with her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did feel like it ended very like there was a lot of like finality in the ending. There wasn't that like, oh, I can't wait to see what happens next. It was very much like, okay, that's the end of the story.
Yeah. Yeah. So, wow. Like I said, I didn't figure you would think that. I didn't think it was super strong. I mean, we started out strong with Wanda and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then Loki came out and was something totally different. So I mean, it's like we had WandaVision that just blew our minds because we're watching the first episode going, what are they doing, right? And then it progresses and it's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, right? It went from what in the world to wow. And then the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it was strong from the beginning. Like that first episode of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier was cinematic. I mean, what they put into that was just amazing. And then it continued. And then Loki came, and Loki was like, it was funny. And I think Two Tiny Wings said, you had Hiddleston and Owen Wilson, and it was just a perfect like back and forth, and everything just came together with it. And we got a season 2 coming. So we have something to look forward to. And now Hawkeye was just like, bleh. I mean, I don't know.
You're making me I'm rethinking this. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Maybe Hawkeye was kind of junk. Like I thoroughly enjoyed it, but now I'm second guessing that thought. I'm like,
I'm sorry.
Because Loki.
I'm not. I still. There's something about that series that I just liked.
I did too. I enjoyed it, but I will say I think that I think what it was missing, now that we've like gone down that rabbit hole, and I'm like, there was no like surprise factor. The story was very predictable, ultimately.
Right.
Like, right? We saw the dad die. We saw the girl become obsessed with this. She accomplished her goal. Jeremy Renner played the Hawkeye we all know. There wasn't...
Yeah.
Like, Loki started out very much Loki being true to character, but then he had a big shift in his character arc. And then you met all the other Lokis and female Loki, and you had Sylvie, who ultimately pulled the extreme Loki move against Loki himself. Like, there was twists and turns. WandaVision was a class of its own as far as these shows have gone, because episode to episode, us trying to figure out what we watched was like, what is going on? Where does this go next?
I'm so sorry, Ginger. I don't mean, I'm not trying to ruin it. I mean, again, and I hate to go recap all these movies, shows on Disney Plus, but they all help develop the character of those individuals who didn't get a lot of screen time in the movies, right? And Hawkeye, we just got Hawkeye. Nothing. Yeah. I mean, give me a little backstory on him, like when he was the assassin, right? Or
I thought that's where they were maybe going when they started like showing when what's her face's dad got killed. I thought they were going to maybe delve into that a little bit, and then no.
I think they missed the mark just a little bit.
They need to hire us to watch the time, give them
there you go,
and then make it a little bit better.
Overall, though, okay, so now that I've just blown your minds, overall, here's my thought, and I want to get your opinion and what you think, is that all these series, Hawkeye included, are leading to the next generation, and that's that passing of the torch that I talked about earlier, and we're setting it up. I mean, Hawkeye could be the leader of the Young Avengers, or it could be her as Hawkeye as the leader of the young. I don't. Lauren, you're the expert in the comic books. I don't know how that all works out. But we have all these pieces that are coming together from all of these series that are going to be something big. Yeah. So in that, I think Hawkeye maybe did that. I think we just needed a little bit more in this series.
Yeah. I'm still in my lane.
Lauren's not wavering.
Not wavering.
I'm really easily impressionable. You can really talk me into anything, apparently.
Yeah.
So.
I'm a Hawkeye fan, and I wasn't a Hawkeye fan when I started the series. I mean, I liked him. I didn't dislike him. Yeah. But it was like the least interesting series that they had going on, and I ended up just liking it. I think a lot of it though has to do with Yelena Belova and Kate Bishop. I just thought those moments were my favorite moments in the series.
I think I 100% agree with you. I think without Yelena, it's a flop.
Yes,
I really do.
I agree with that.
Without that character, I wish she would have come in earlier. I wish they would have actually developed that and maybe had some more back and forth. I think Melanie said it one show. Good night, Ginger. Bye. I think Melanie said it one week that was like, why did they take 15 minutes of a 37-minute show to have that back and forth? It was, and it took forever, but I mean, it made the show, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, but if they could have done that in little chunks throughout this series, I think maybe change my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I would have liked her to be introduced earlier on. Her interactions with everybody were so important, and she is just such a good, like, she's one of those people that she's a hired assassin, so really why do you feel like endearing towards her? But like her backstory makes her so like I have to root for her. So like I love Hawkeye. I didn't want her to kill him, but I'm like,
right.
She's too good of a person at heart. Like she's gonna figure this out. They're gonna be okay. Like I had to root for her during the whole show.
I thought that Hawkeye had the neatest transition for somebody in the blip, where it's literally was 5 seconds, and for her, you totally got it. You're like, oh my god, they experienced nothing.
It was so
5
cool.
years.
I was so mad that I had that literally written down to talk about whichever night we discussed that episode and never got to it. And I was so mad because when Mark and I were watching it, the instant it happened, I go, oh my God, she was in the blip. And Mark's like, no, wait, what's going on? And then she walked out. He goes, okay, that was awesome. And I was like, that moment to me was maybe one of the highlights of the show and showcasing like how that worked.
Right.
Because it literally was that.
Right.
It was awesome.
If you read the Bible, read the Revelation, depending on what theology you follow, that might be the rapture. Who knows? You know. Let's see, honey. I'm not sure if you're still watching, but I mean, come on now. She said Hawkeye is super hot.
It's true.
Let's see. I just was kind of trying to catch up on some. I know y'all in the chat. If I, didn't recognize something, I apologize. We kind of got into it there. Are you? Yeah. Wow. Rogue Disney says they ruined Kingpin, and that's kind of
Mark kind of felt that way too.
Okay, talk to me about that. What do you think?
I'm not familiar enough with Kingpin to really know like his backstory, but Mark was kind of adamant, like, I hope they don't screw this up, and if they ruin him, that's it. And at the end, he's like, they did him dirty. Like, he did not like how they. I don't know if it was like the actual portrayal or
he's like 100% not dead.
Oh no!
No! There's no way.
Yeah,
it's
no
the
way.
MCU, and we didn't see a body. Okay.
We didn't even see a shot fired. I have a feeling the shot fired was a totally different. If there's another season or we get clarification on that, I have a feeling the shot fired wasn't even deal with him.
I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call it right now, and it's being recorded, so we can always come back. That right there is gonna be the first scene in Echo. It's gonna be the first scene in Echo. So if you didn't know, Echo is gonna be coming out later this year, I think.
Yeah.
And it's I bet
I think it's next year.
Or is it 2023? Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. Goes toe to toe with Spider-Man. Yeah. Rogue, I understand what you're saying there. But here's the thing, I don't think Kate Bishop went toe to toe with him. By herself, I don't think that she beat him at all. I mean,
he was destroying her until the mom hit the car into the building.
Right. And I mean, everything that she was using was all of Hawkeye's, tricks. I mean, so and he was even beating those. Yeah. So, I think that, I was not happy with her even being able. I mean, it's one thing to just go out there and fight a bunch of little thugs, but I mean, you're talking about the big bad, and probably one of the more powerful villains in the MCU. Am I right, Lauren?
Yeah. He is. I mean, in terms of on Earth, I mean, like
on Earth.
You can't compare him to somebody like Thanos or one of the constructs or anything like that. Right. But I think that was one thing that I thought was weird, was that Hawkeye sent her to go deal with Kingpin,
right?
When I didn't know if that's because he believed he needed to confront Yelena, and so that's what he had to do. But I was like, boy, you have all of a sudden a lot of confidence in her to send her up toe to toe with Kingpin. So I do agree with that. Like, I did think that was weird, but I did think that the way that the scene played out the way it should have, with her using the trick arrows against him.
Right. I mean, and that just kind of slows him down. Rogue Disney says the character from Daredevil show wouldn't have gotten in that situation. I didn't actually watch the Daredevil show. I want to go back there. I'm going to be one of those people that jumps the Disney Plus ship and goes over to Netflix for a little bit and watches it, because I'm really intrigued now. But yeah, from what he
was excellent in Daredevil, but it's an entirely different show. That was a much darker show, and he had a much So I agree. I mean, I think that they will definitely bring him back to what he was in the Daredevil series. This show, I think, was more for him to be introduced for Echo.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Rogue Disney goes as far as this. They are going to neuter him in the MCU. Yeah, I mean, I think that. I mean, that's the problem. I have problem. I don't know if problem is the way to say it, but I mean, they're going to Disneyfy it. I mean, that's just what they're going to have to do. It's not. I mean, when you look at a Sony Spider-Man to a Disney Spider-Man, it's different, And so I think that you have to go. Is that your timer? Is that it? All the time. Oh, I thought timer went off.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, I don't know. I hear beeping.
Oh yeah, it is. I'm sorry. It's my glucometer.
Oh, okay. You everything all right? We're good?
Yes. Good.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Yeah, so I'm hoping I don't know. I mean maybe they can make it a PG-13. I think I heard didn't I hear that they are going to like make the oh my goodness, what am I thinking? Oh, I just lost my train of thought. The not Spider-Man red guy.
Oh, Miles Morales?
No, not Spider-Man. Not
Spider-Man.
the guy that loses
Daredevil?
Deadpool?
Yeah, Deadpool.
Deadman.
Aren't they supposed to bring Deadpool into the MCU or something? I don't know.
Yeah, they've already said that they're going to do it, and he is going to be rated R.
Right, and that's going to be Disney. So, yeah. I mean, that would be. Thank you, DC. I appreciate that. You're just a little bit late now. The Food Cat's stopping in. Welcome in. Hello. So, all right. So, final thoughts. Any final thoughts on Hawkeye that we haven't talked about? Anything in the chat that we haven't talked about? And then I want to transition us over and talk a little bit about Boba Fett before we end the night. So, what do y'all? Leslie, it looks like you got something.
I just want to say one other thing that I just really did love in the final episode of Hawkeye is I loved when the mom's boyfriend was out there fighting with the sword and the stupid guy. I was like, I knew there was no way he was the bad guy. He was too stupid. Like He was not smart enough to be that bad of a guy in this show. So I loved when he was out there sword fighting.
And then the LARPers wanted him to join them.
Right. Right, where does he fit in the comic books? Because I think at one time you said, Lauren, that there's a character based on him, right?
Yeah, there is, but I for some reason I can't remember him very well.
Not that important then.
Yeah. I knew more about the grandfather or the father. I can't remember if he's the grandfather or the father.
Oh, okay.
The one that was murdered.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. I know who you're talking about. I can't remember his name, but right. Okay. So final is we don't want to miss the post-credit scene because we knew there was a post-credit scene coming and we were waiting to see what is this all going to lead to. Leslie, give me your thoughts.
I'm trying to even remember now because we're a week late and I don't even remember what the post said. I don't feel like
Roger's a musical.
Oh, yes. I forgot we went back to the musical. I don't know that they're going to put this on Broadway. That's the only thing I can think of. Like, I
would go and see it in a heartbeat.
Oh, I would too.
I would see Roger's the musical in a heartbeat. I love that number that they
I just kept watching it going, okay, something's going to happen. Somebody's going to be in the audience. There's
I was waiting. Is Thanos back there eating some popcorn? What?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Something is going to happen. Right?
Every time they showed the guy in the audience who is obvious, like I'm like looking at all the people around him. Like, am I supposed to notice that somebody is here? What is it?
It's very funny.
What
does it think? Someone's completely attracted to Great.
That's my producer for you, folks, right there.
But,
Yeah, I'm so there. DC, I don't know. You're my Broadway Disney fan. So is there a Rogers the Musical coming to Broadway? Because if there is, you've got to book us tickets and we are all going. So,
You're gonna-
yeah, right.
You and Mel can
Group
organize our travel plans.
right? I mean, we're going to retire booking trips to New York to go see that because, I mean, I'm telling you that is, oh, it's hilarious. Wait. He says the musical with one song was better than Spider-Man. Oh my goodness. Wow, that is a bold statement. You are going to have to pop on sometime and give us your real thoughts on Spider-Man. So hopefully you're talking about No Way Home, probably. Yeah,
Actually, DC's a big Marvel fan. We should have him on
Yeah,
this.
yeah. I'll totally have him on. I didn't know he was a big Marvel fan, but hey, come on in, and you can come in for Boba Fett. Speaking of Boba Fett, we've got about 15, 17 minutes left. I do have my Boba Fett right there.
Nice.
So pretty excited. Got this for Christmas. I don't remember from who though. I don't know. Maybe Disney Connections Mel will remind me who I got that from. So I guess we got to look. Leslie's just going to kind of hang out unless you want to go, Leslie. But there's not going to be any like real spoilers. I don't feel like episode 1.
There's not really
spoilers.
Yeah.
Some pretty cool reveals. So, Leslie, what do you remember of Boba Fett?
I remember nothing of Boba Fett. It's been a very long time. I watched Star Wars a lot when I was young. And then we rewatched the 3 original probably 8 years ago because when Mark and I started dating, he had never seen the originals and I could not understand it. So we rewatched them then, and I probably haven't watched anything since.
Okay. So, hey, Pete McDivitt's in the house. Welcome. We're giving away cars tonight. Okay. Well, he's got a lot of cars over there in Nevada that he can just send you the keys to. So it's great. Hey, we had the Russians come in again tonight. Welcome in from Russia, I guess. Okay, so let's really quick just kind of go back to the original 3. I saw a meme today, and it was Luke, and he was talking to somebody. He's like, "You fought." He was talking to Obi-Wan, and he's like, "You fought in the Clone Wars." Now, that was one line in A New Hope that we didn't know anything about until 20 years later?
Mm-hmm.
So he's talking to Obi-Wan. You hear about the Clone Wars, and then you don't hear anything else about it until episodes 1, 2, and 3 come out, right?
Yeah.
Am I on track there?
You're on
So Boba Fett has a little part in Empire Strikes Back. Follow me? Lauren, correct me if I'm wrong. A little part in Empire Strikes Back, and he's in the first 7 minutes of Return of the Jedi.
Yes, and he was also technically he was introduced in the holiday special. I
was going to watch that this year.
Short, yeah, it's on Disney Plus too. If anybody wants to watch it, called the what is it? Something of the Wookiee. But anyway, it really, you could watch it or not watch it, and it won't, affect what you think about Boba Fett. Really, Empire and Return of the Jedi are what you need to know mostly about him until you get to the prequels.
Right. So his big part, Leslie, just to remind you, is he brings Han Solo into Jabba the Hutt.
Okay. Yes.
So that's his big moment. That's his like huge part in that original trilogy. It's not until, and I won't ruin it all for you because you're gonna go watch it now because you want to come back and you want to talk Boba Fett. But in episode 2 is when we get to know him, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And when Obi-Wan goes, because Boba Fett is a clone, the Clone Wars. So, the Empire was building this clone army up. But we don't really like, other than that little bit in there, we don't get to know him until The Mandalorian. And like I said, none of this really matters. Like there's no spoilers in the first episode because we kind of just get the backstory of how he got into the Mandalorian, really. And then we know why he's where he's at. So, Lauren, I have a little bit of cherry pie left. Tell me what you think of episode 1.
I really liked it. I thought that, I know there's a lot of complaints about it being slow, but that's a way that a lot of the projects that Dave Filoni works on, The Mandalorian, if you search back to The Mandalorian, the first few episodes are slow. And it just starts heating up later on. And I think a lot of these shows have that kind of slow build. So I don't mind the fact that this didn't reveal a whole lot of stuff in the first episode. It revealed to me what I needed to know, and that is how he got out of the Sarlacc pit.
Right.
That's all I needed to really know. And where was he for all those years that he had been gone up to the Mandalorian?
Right.
Because the Mandalorian takes place, 15 years after Return of the Jedi?
Yes. Yep.
So for 15 years he's been gone, and turns out he was a slave of the Tusken Raiders.
Right.
So,
and I don't know that we've gotten that full. I'm wondering if this series is going to be a back and forth, like looking into the past and kind of developing. That's why he is who he is. Those kind of things. Possibly.
I have a feeling that's the way it's going to be. And I don't mind it. I really don't mind it. He was a character that I was completely obsessed with when Empire Strikes Back came out. I don't know why. I just thought his armor was so cool looking, and I just thought that he was really cool. And I wanted to know who was it underneath the armor and all of this stuff. And so to have a show that gives me a little bit more about this character that I loved so much when I was a child is awesome.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to spoil it again. We're going to keep the spoilers low because, I don't know. Most of y'all in the chat have probably kept up on the series, but I want Leslie to come back. So
I'll come back. And honestly, you'll tell me stuff. If I don't see it, I'm not going to remember what you're saying anyway. So if you spoil anything, it won't.
Yeah.
I literally have a short-term memory if I don't see it actually happening. So
I'm the same way. Like, you could give me the ending of a film, and I won't I'll watch it, and I'll be completely surprised anyway. Yeah. So that's the way that I am sometimes. I completely forget what people have told me.
Yeah. Well, let's see. His father was Django, right?
Django, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I want to make sure I got that right. So, what we do know basically is that Boba and Django are they're the most pure clone, right? Is that what I got from that? And so they're a little bit different than the rest of the clone army, and they were kind of set aside. So they weren't a part of the masses. They kind of were the bosses kind of thing.
Mhm.
And then Boba watches his father, well, you know, lightsaber. Anyway,
Yeah.
and so we see that in is that episode 2 or 3? 2. I think it's episode 2.
Yeah, too.
And so we see that, and we see Boba run to his father's helmet, and it's kind of like, it's foreshadowing that he's taking on that role, and then we don't see him again until episode 5 in Empire, and we don't get to know him much. So I'm kind of like you, in that, I remember the character in the original trilogy. I get to see him in episode 2, and I'm like, oh, this is cool, right? And then what? And then where does he go forever until we finally? I mean, that was a huge reveal moment for me in The Mandalorian.
Mhm.
When he's like, "Give me my armor back," you're like, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah.
I think that all I got out of this episode was him getting out of the sarlacc pit.
Mhm.
Um,
And how his armor ended up with Cobb Vanth
right,
because it was taken by the Jawa.
right. Yeah, that was
Mhm.
that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
As far as the rest of the episode, I agree with you that it's slow, and I agree that it's going to build. I mean, I'm not worried about the speed. I think that they're just building the story. Filoni and Favreau are real good at kind of going back and fixing those things that maybe didn't
Mhm.
tie up real well in the original trilogies.
Mhm.
So I'm not worried about that. But Lauren, people in the chat, there was one thing, and I'm going to give you a second, and Lauren, maybe you want to talk about it. There was one thing that really bothered me about
Hmm.
episode 1. Was there anything in there, Lauren, that you can think of?
From episode 1?
No, from Boba Fett. So from this episode.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
trying to think. That
This is like a quiz. I feel like Rob's testing you right now.
I know. I'm like, oh God, I feel like there should be something that's bothering me. Yeah, now I don't have anything that's bothering me.
Wow.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm dying to know.
I was kind of killing time here. Rogue Disney, I need to get to know you. And I might have to have you on because Rogue is whoever you are, you have been posting some really good stuff on here. I like this comment up here. It says, once you take off the helmet, you weaken the image of Boba Fett. I really like. I might disagree with you. I'm not sure exactly what you're saying here, but I might agree with you a little bit. Is that I think they are trying to create this character of Boba Fett who is without the armor and yet still respected because he says he doesn't want to rule because he's now sitting in Jabba's seat, right? He's now the head of the crime ring. But he doesn't want to rule with fear. He wants to rule out of respect. And so I like that. And I'm hoping that we manifest that into creating a character that maybe cares about the people that he rules. I'm good there. But this last comment, Rogue Disney said, the fight scenes were so bad. Terrible. I literally didn't want to watch it anymore.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I liked in The Mandalorian how they mixed the Western with the samurai, and everything that happened in The Mandalorian was purposeful, and it was very Star Wars action. But when you oh my goodness, that fight was in slow motion. It was so bad. The cinematography of that fight scene
Which fight scene were we talking about?
When they come out into the street and they're surrounded by the guys with the red shields.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Because he was trying to not. There were things that he was trying not to do, and Fennec Shand is in one ear, and who
But even her
I
fight
love
sequences were terrible.
the what?
I said even her like fight sequences, were all. I mean, it was terrible. The whole fight scene.
Yeah,
And
they were much better in the Mandalorian. Yeah,
the assassins running on the roof, and okay. I'm gonna take you back. And Leslie, how old's your oldest?
Mine?
Yeah.
Oh, she's only 3.
Okay, so you haven't watched the Power Rangers. Okay.
Oh, my brother growing up, I know the Power Rangers.
The fight scene was the Power Rangers. It really was. It was that bad.
I would have to rewatch it now with that thought in mind.
Go back and rewatch
You might have
that.
just ruined this first episode for me after all. I'm gonna like vision the white Power Ranger fighting and
Too Tiny Wings said we kept yelling parkour. I did see a review that I watched right after watching it, and somebody was comparing it to The Office and them running around the office yelling parkour and jumping on stuff. So yeah. Wow.
That's
I don't even know where to go. I think that you're right, Lauren. I think that the series is going to it's gonna get better as they build the story. I sure hope that we don't get any more Power Ranger fighting. I mean, just go back and watch. I mean,
yeah, I'm gonna have to watch this again. I did watch it at midnight when it came out.
okay.
So I was not at full attention.
DC was a huge Power Ranger fan, apparently. DC, if that's your idea of a fight scene, woo! I don't know. Anyway, but I think that there's a lot of questions that are going to be answered, and we're going to tackle this in the next episode when we come back next week after watching episode 2. And I'm hoping episode 2 will also answer some questions, because I want to know, like, why does he get into the healing pod? Why is that? What is going on with him that is causing him, like, because after that fight scene, which honestly, I mean, maybe if they sped it up and actually showed him getting hit, I don't know, something. I mean, he got electrocuted a couple times, but why did he have to like get carried back to the pod? Like, I feel like he should be stronger than that. Mando's opening was amazing in compare. I 100% agree. 100% agree. Yep. Lauren, what do you think? Where do you think this series is going? And then I think we're going to leave it there. So I'm going to give you the final thought here tonight.
Oh man, where do I think it's going? I just feel like they're just bringing Boba Fett back. I mean, who knows? I've heard they've been wanting to do the High Republic films, or setting it up for us to be taken like well into the past. But I don't think it's sticking. So I've heard that they want to do more familiar stories, and so who knows? Maybe they're setting it up for Boba Fett to eventually have a movie, or maybe some of these other characters are going to have. Who knows? Fennec Shand may have something. I wouldn't mind. I love Ming-Na Wen.
Yeah,
I think that she's so great.
And they could merge now.
Yeah.
Star Wars, MCU. It's the crossover event.
Now
life.
that would be. Do you know how many people would die if that happened?
Didn't you say that in one of the other shows too, that it was coming because of something? I think
Yeah.
you're really pushing for this to happen.
Long time ago, yeah. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Rogue. Okay, so in the comics, which again, I maybe need to do some reading. I don't know. At 44, how you teach an old dog new tricks? I don't know, but says that the sarlacc pit acid gave him cancer, and so he's healing from that. So, I don't know. I guess.
Okay, yeah, we need to get Rogue Disney on these shows.
Yep. All right. Hey, slide into the DMs, maybe something, and we'll hook it up for next week. Okay.
Yeah. Fascinating.
I think we beat this one up. I love the ending of Hawkeye discussion. I know I shocked y'all with my opinion on that. But hey, I think we wrapped up Hawkeye pretty good. I have high hopes and for Boba Fett and what this series is gonna bring on, and I'm super excited to come back and talk about it here on Taco Tuesday. Leslie, thank you for coming in. What do you got going on your channel coming up soon?
Oh, guess what I'm doing on Saturday?
Oh, what?
Oh, I might be taste testing with my adorable Amelia a Main Street treat box.
Oh,
We
nice.
may have filmed it last night before I jumped on the live for the fudge. So I got a new laptop, which is why my lighting and stuff is a little different in here. So we filmed last night on the laptop so I can try maybe editing a little and being a little more professional. And we filmed our Main Street Treat Co box.
Awesome. Well, I'm really excited. Are you on the laptop right now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I mean, your audio is great and everything, and it's been wonderful tonight.
Yeah, Mark for my Christmas gift upgraded me to a nice laptop that I could actually use for filming or editing, however I wanted to do it. And this is nice because then I have my phone, so I can be on the chat too. So
nice. Well, thank you, Mark. I appreciate you. So, Lauren, what do you got going on?
Well, we got just the regular things that we have going on. We do a lot of unboxings. We do a lot of hauls. We do. I'm going to start. I have a new section that I'm now calling 0 to 60, where this year I will watch all 60 Walt Disney Animation Studios films and talk about them. So this Friday will be the beginning with Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Awesome. I love that.
Looking forward to that.
I'm going to have to tune in for that, and I think Melanie will enjoy that too.
Yeah, definitely.
Very cool.
Awesome. Well, we here in Central Florida have a lot of stuff going on. I mean, if you're subscribed to the channel and click the bell and all of that YouTube stuff, then you got to notice tonight, earlier tonight anyway, and we were in Epcot. We just decided to go live. Thank you to my producer, Chris over there at Disney Dynamics, who I was out on the road, and he said, "Do you need a thumbnail?" I said, "Yeah." He put a thumbnail together, and we put a show together. So we got to walk around Epcot tonight and kind of start looking at some new treats that might be coming out. Because I don't know if you know, but this channel is sponsored by Main Street Treat Company, Main Street Treat Co., or mainstreettreat.com.
And their stuff is delicious.
Well,
don't want to give too many spoilers for my video Saturday, but delicious.
I mean, it's really Disney stuff. We just get it to you quickly. Yeah, we're just lots of stuff going on there. We got some trips planned around outside the Orlando area that we're hoping to stream for you.
Any announcements coming that any of us need to know about?
Yes.
Yeah, you guys have been at Universal a lot.
We were at Universal for a few days last week while our daughter was in town. Yeah. And I don't know. Keep stay tuned. If you haven't gone over to the Facebook group Disney Connections, make sure you go there because there will be stuff posted over there. And make sure you're subscribed and bell on this channel on YouTube, because very soon something's
All
going to
right.
happen.
Wow.
You guys are
All right.
killing the suspense.
That's a
Driving
cliffhanger.
Crazy.
That's all I got for y'all. So I just want to thank you. And if y'all want to just hang out for a few minutes, I'll close this out. Chris will roll the outro and end the stream. And then we'll come back in. We can chat for a second or two before we head off to wherever we're going to go after this. So thank you to everybody in the chat. I feel a lot more smart that, you were here contributing to our conversation tonight. I think I learned some stuff. So hopefully you did too. And hopefully you enjoyed this night of Taco Tuesday. So appreciate you being here on Disney Connections, where we're going to talk about all things Disney.